and welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Tom Fornelli, that's Bud Elliott, that's Danny Cannell. I'm Chip Patterson, coming to you live at youtube.com/Cover3 and everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and come and join us in the chat, a.k.a. the Cover 3 Tailgate, where Braden jumped in early, saying, can we get a shout out to my Kennesaw State Owls for their first win against an FBS opponent? Yes, it was 5-0 against 0-6, and 0-6 came out victorious. Hootie hoo. And as Trenton also jumped in, someone call Gary Parrish. We need the owl sound effect in honor of Kennesaw State's first FBS win, a callback to Kennesaw State's basketball program and the Ion College Basketball Podcast. Banana stuff on the mothership, CBS Sports Network, history being made. And I guess Liberty, that's it, right?
Bye.
Oh, yeah. It was probably bye anyway, but at least now I love Liberty. I've been the biggest backer of theirs, but I'm actually kind of glad it unfolded this way because the debate would have been just awkward and uncomfortable. And I even had Liberty fans hit me up like, yeah, our schedule doesn't deserve it. But, there would have been some that would have been like, yeah, what about us? And so now that's taken care of.
I think it's also they were pretty screwed playoff wise, I think, because they didn't get the App State game rescheduled. Like I know they made some real offers for App, and App didn't want to do it. Obviously, App's got a lot of stuff going on. So
I think they were screwed because they haven't been playing well.
Well, okay, yeah, right. But even if they had stayed undefeated, I think they were going to run into trouble.
Yeah. They were they have been by many metrics a step back from where they were a year ago, making it to the New Year's Six, to the Fiesta Bowl, and winning Conference USA. Jamie Chadwell, of course, will be looking to still pursue that Conference USA championship, something that's very much still in the mix moving forward for the Flames. But congratulations to Kennesaw State. All right. It is 11 a.m. on Thursday. That means we have to do our locks. But before we look ahead, we have to look back and review the week that was. Bud, it was a 2-10 week. The wins were UCLA plus 4.5. I mean, they went and they got that straight up W. That was a lock fight win against Danny, and also came through on the Texas Tech team total over 30.5. The losses were BYU -8, Nebraska +7, Bama, Tennessee over 56, Florida State +3.5, New Mexico, Utah State under 78.5, ECU +16.5, Iowa -5, Utah -4, Northwestern +7.5, Air Force +7.5. 2-10 on the week brings you to 35-48 for the season. What are we flushing it? Is this a burn the tape moment? I mean, what are we doing, Coach?
I mean, I don't think you can just totally flush it. Like you just got to review the process each time. Like, are you beating the close? Like, are you missing big stuff? Like BYU ended up just being a bad bet. They played like crap. That didn't beat the close. Nebraska 7, okay. I thought Bama UT had a lot of opportunities to hit plays and didn't, obviously, but the game went way under. So bad one by me there. Obviously, I bet FSU again after watching that one. ECU totally dead. Iowa, I mean, they were dead in the game. Pre-game, I think I'd probably fire on that again. Utah, boy, man, that was bad. Northwestern closed well. Air Force, that closed well. I don't know. I'd probably fire on, 6 of the 10 losses again, I guess.
Well, you got 2 fired coaches, or at least a firing and a resignation coming out of the weekend. So certainly there's already been some reverberation from some of those results. All right, it was a 10-4 weekend for me. The wins were Tennessee +3. We love to see the Latifa. The Indiana -6.5. The Nebraska Indiana over 50.5. Illinois +3.5. The Maryland USC over 56.5. The Miami Louisville over 59.5. The Oklahoma State BYU over 52. The Charlotte Navy over 55, the Army team total over 33.5, the Iowa State third quarter -3.5. The losses were Florida State +3.5, the Georgia Texas over 55.5, Clemson first half -11.5, and Mississippi State team total under 20.5. That Mississippi State team, Mississippi State offense, lessons are Mississippi State offense. I'm just going to take my hands off for a little bit. Obviously, since they've made the quarterback change, this is not something that was just going to be one game flash in the pan. I'm off Clemson team total here for a little bit. We are starting to get towards the end of the season, but more importantly, we're starting to get towards the most difficult portion of Clemson's schedule. So it's going to be a little bit of a different rhythm when we think about scripting out these games. And I would not bet Florida State again. I don't care. I don't want to have any investment in that.
That's valid.
That's Healthcare Saturday. Okay. I'm not asking Florida State to accomplish a lot. So 10-4 for the week has me at 49-45 for the season. Danny, we were sitting there at 4-6, jumped on board with the Latifa, got that Tennessee +3, also cashing in on Illinois +3.5, also getting the under 45.5 in Michigan, Illinois, a little 2-for-1 special, DK special, got that ODU +10, pulling that one out of the woodworks. Mizzou -4 is a push. Brady Cook saved his team, but he couldn't quite save the cover. The losses, Louisville +5, the Nebraska-Indiana under 51, South Carolina, Oklahoma under 41.5, Charlotte +17.5, Georgia Tech +12, Rutgers -4. What do we think, Danny?
The Georgia Tech one was one that I wanted to text the group chat and be like, can I take that off the board? Once I thought Haynes King was playing, when he wasn't, I was like, it was 13.5. And on the pregame show, I was like, I don't think that's enough. And I was right on that one. Charlotte was a bad bet. Just trying to take a flyer on Navy. Maybe they'd be flat before the Notre Dame game. Just one of those weeks. Keep plugging away. Louisville was in it, and then they weren't. I didn't expect Dylan Raiola to throw 3 picks, kind of help that game go over, nor did I see 21 points in the first 5 minutes of the Oklahoma-South Carolina game. So just some wacky stuff that unfolded. It happened.
Chopping wood. That's what we're doing. We're just chopping wood.
It ain't deterring my confidence this week.
4-6 for the week has you at 35-48 for the season. For Tom, it was a 4-6 week. The wins were Tennessee +3, Iowa, Michigan State over 39.5, Maryland, USC over 56.5, Cincinnati -4.5, Nebraska +7 losses, Nebraska +7, the under 41.5 in South Carolina, Oklahoma, the New Mexico, Utah State under 78.5, the Georgia, Texas over 55.5, the over 41 in Wisconsin, Northwestern, and then the under 66.5 in North Texas, Memphis.
It's important every week to go back and evaluate and try to figure out where you went wrong and where you went right. And I did that this week, some very critical self-evaluation. And I came to the determination that this was 100% Chip and Danny's fault. Last week, I was so busy with the doc because Chip was just firing on every single game and throwing everything out of order that I did a lock agreement with Danny on the South Carolina-Oklahoma under. When you can ask Mikey, the picks that I sent to him, I was on the over in that game. That should have been a lock fight. I just went lock agreement because I was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then I also had the over in, what was the other one? And I had another over in a low total Big Ten game, and that one. So I should be 6-5 last week. Instead, I'm 4-6. And I think Danny, with all his guest stars, who I had to keep track of their picks, and Chip with his 1,000 picks messing up the doc, I think you both owe me an apology, and I think you owe the listeners an apology too.
I would feel awful if you had let me out of that McKenzie lock bet that I wasn't really in, but we just said it was done. So
but you were in it.
Once it's on the pod,
get the audio.
Done. Hey, listen. Mackenzie has her own answering to do. Okay,
that's right.
That'll be coming up.
Brought that up.
Yeah, that'll be coming up in Club Kenz. Maybe we will shift over to our guest tab and throw it up on the screen once we get to that as she tries to have a bounce back week herself. But hey, let's get the doc out of here for now. Let's get it off the screen because it's behind us. We got week 9 ahead of us, and so I say, gentlemen, y'all ready to lock it up?
As long as you don't mess me up.
Since 2005, the under in games between service academies is 40-9-1.
We're picking locks.
Give me an over in this one as well. A little 2-for-1 special.
Don't get these locks.
I was a sicko last week. Y'all were watching the good games. I was live betting the hell out of ULM Kentucky.
My blue plate special 5-star locks are coming.
5-star master lock. Lock it. You want these locks.
I'm living and dying every point, every cover.
From the locking share to your eyes and ears, we begin with the early birds Thursday. Got 2 games tonight. Georgia Southern against Old Dominion. It's a very good game. 3-0 in Sun Belt play are those Georgia Southern Eagles. 2-1 for ODU, and then another good one. College football on Thursday. We're back. Syracuse at Pitt. 5-1 against 6-0. Pitt favored by about 5.5. Who's got a Thursday night lock? Danny, you want to run it up the flagpole?
Yeah, of course.
You can take lead on this one. Let's
go. Give me the over. This was one of our lock agreements on our top 25 show we do on Tuesdays. Is it down at 61.5? I think FanDuel this morning
62.5 and 61.5. Yeah, you can get both actually right now.
Perfect. 61.5. Give me the over on that one. Two prolific offenses. Pitt's defense was good against Cal, but I still think they're going to get thrown all over with Kyle McCord. I think it's a high-scoring affair. Give me the over. We know Eli Holstein's and Cade Bell's system. Give me the over.
Yeah, that's it. Matchups, vibes. I mean, just I could see this. Yeah, come on. I mean, that's Russell Wilson's house now. Exactly. Moon balls all day. Let's go. The Pitt in the sort of breakdown of this, Syracuse's defense, we've not thought at all like this season. We've never looked at them as being like a super big time difference making unit. Pitt on the sneak has let some teams, especially, be able to throw the ball. I think that leads to Kyle McCord having a big day. So we don't even have, like with new clock rules, I think we get a lot of possessions in this game too. A lot of throwing the ball around. So give me the over in that one as well.
You know what?
Oh!
Fight. I'll take that under 62.5 out there.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big number for college football. I'm not saying it can't get there, but it does require both offenses to click. And what if Eli Holstein can just throw some picks that are not sixes? Like, can we throw just some like way downfield picks? Cool, like serve as a punt. That could be kind of cool. Maybe we run the ball a little bit more. Last time out, Cal definitely had a decent plan for him. Like there have been teams that have stopped the Syracuse offense for good chunks of games. Stanford did it for a little while. So I could see under here. So I'm going to go ahead and fight this.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a lock war.
All right, bank 3, pink. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a lock war.
I will have my vengeance for last week.
Somebody did ask in the chat, what if it finishes at 62? Everybody goes home a winner.
Everybody wins. And
it's a lock war peace treaty, right?
Yeah. Then we all wipe away our records for the season and start clean.
That would be great.
Lock war alliance. I don't know what we want to call this.
Is that's when everything becomes perfectly balanced? All the infinity stones are together, and then whoop, we just start fresh.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
If this thing does hit right on 62, that is going to be pretty magical. What a great start to week 9 this could be. Anything else? I think that's the first lock war of the season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's good stuff. Georgia Southern ODU. Somebody asked in the tailgate before we got started if there was any read on it. Any thoughts?
My Twitter tip's Georgia Southern in the points, but I'm not locking it up.
Yeah.
I get Old Dominion's playing better lately, but I still feel like Georgia Southern's the better team, and I don't know how much of a home field advantage ODU is going to have. So give me the Eagles.
Better teams lose on the road all the time, but I think Georgia Southern is the better team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tend to agree.
All right. On to Friday, trio of games. Louisville at Boston College. Then, of course, on CBS Sports Network, we've been talking about it all week. Boise State at UNLV, one of the games of the week in the Mountain West. And then, perhaps the saddest sporting event of the month of October, Rutgers at USC in the Coliseum on the same night of Game 1 of the World Series.
What do you mean saddest game? It's unbelievable because it's the rivalry. We have the East Coast, West Coast World Series, and we have East Coast, West Coast rivalry game between Rutgers and USC. Like, how is this not the perfect pairing?
Bad boy versus death row.
Yeah.
Lock it up then, Danny. Tell me that you'll be locked into this one.
I'll lock it up.
All right, go.
Give me USC minus 13.5. I think we're getting good value on the Trojans here, coming off of some disappointing losses with the Rutgers team that's been banged up, having to fly all the way across those time zones to play a late night game in the Coliseum. I just don't know if Rutgers can score enough points to keep up.
Yeah. I mean, it would be horrendous vibes for USC if this is close.
Mm-hmm. I think this is kind of like a must-have kind of gut check Friday night for the
Gut check Friday. Anybody gonna take anything in Boise State UNLV?
Yeah, I'm gonna lay it with Boise.
3.5, or you got 2.5?
There's 3s out there. No, 2.5. I do more than lay it, but 3 is three is the number. You can get 3.5.
I'd take it out to dinner. And
I've also got to play on this game. I'm taking the under 64.5.
I'm gonna fight Bud and take 3.5 at home.
Oh,
Fight.
It's the best run defense outside of Oregon that he's faced. He did go off against Oregon. I do think UNLV will be able to put up some points. So I actually would probably fight Tom. I'm not going to. And I think, Chip, you were on the over, weren't you? In the or you were on the team total over?
I did UNLV team total over. Like, instead of getting distracted by all the shiny objects, it's just Boise State's defense. We haven't asked a lot from that group, and I've been a big UNLV offense proponent ever since they made the quarterback change.
Yeah. So I'm going to take those 3.5 points all day long.
a lot of blood on the board early.
Love it. Love it. All right. Anything else for Friday night? Somebody in the tailgate was asking about Louisville wide receiver Colin Lacey opting out for the rest of the year. My understanding is that he plans to come back to Louisville. I mean, we'll see. You still got to put pen to paper, so to speak, or literally, to get that locked in. But he's been so banged up all year. I don't change my rating of Louisville based on that one player's availability, though he's obviously come up with some special plays there. I don't know if, Bud, you got any Colin Lacey thoughts?
Not really. I mean, he hasn't been an impact guy for them this year. You know, been hurt. I didn't think he was really like their best guy. He was their biggest name preseason.
Right.
I mean, Bell and Brooks have been better. So I don't know like what the deal is with the redshirting stuff. But
well, he's never. I mean, I think the argument is he's not been healthy. He wants to preserve eligibility. Again, they're saying he's going to come back. We'll believe it when we see it.
Yeah, I always take that based on what we've seen. I always take that with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah,
that's 4 games is an odd number to just decide. You know what? I just can't do it this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up on the other side, we turn our attention to Saturday, taking a look at some of the bigger games of the day, and we'll have to go to the club next. Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, getting our big headliner started with that game, MetLife Stadium, noon Eastern time. It's Notre Dame. It's Navy. We've got I guess Notre Dame's running out to about 13.5, over under about 51.5. You know, we can shop around, get some good numbers. Who's got a lock?
I do.
Me too. Go.
What, through the juice, we can go as low as -120.
I might need to
what we've been doing. No,
what?
We go -120.
-120?
Yeah.
What about like 124?
No.
124. What are we trying to bet? A team total here?
We're trying to get Navy in the first quarter plus 3.5.
Throw it on, man.
That's fine. Yeah.
People love the show.
All right.
We need it. We need a win.
Yeah, I got Navy in the first quarter -3.5. What do you think we're gonna have? 2 possessions, right? You know, if we can, if we can get like a stop. If we could get, as long as Notre Dame doesn't go right down, take the ball first and go right down the field and score a touchdown, then I think we might be live here. Navy has been, as I mentioned on Wednesday's show, very good red zone offense, very good red zone defense. So let's go with Navy, fired up, coming out for a big game, playing with a lot of confidence. I think they get a good start. So Navy first quarter plus 3.5.
Not a direct fight, but not exactly in line with you. Give me Notre Dame -12.5. we talked about it a little bit in the big game breakdowns. The best team that Navy has seen this year is Memphis, and while I am very much a how you play over who you play guy, it does matter a little bit who you play, especially when you're running an option offense and you don't quite have the athletes of the other teams on a weekly basis. And I just look at this Navy squad going against Notre Dame. Like, an option offense is not something Notre Dame hasn't seen. They see it every year. They usually see it multiple times in a year. They know how to prepare for it. They know what's coming. And on the defensive side of the ball for Navy, are you really willing to trust those guys to be able to cover Notre Dame's receivers, to be able to battle with that offensive line for 60 minutes without giving up a couple big plays here and there? I'm not. Give me the Irish minus 12.5.
Let the children sing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm with you. I for a lot of the same reasons. They've seen it before, including last year when they won 42-3. I just think this is a significant bump up in body types that Navy's going to be going against. And usually when you can minimize that is when you run a scheme they haven't seen. Notre Dame has seen this plenty, so I will lay them. I don't know what to do with this play. I don't know what sounder. I don't know what we call it. But Jordan Giorgio, our guest picker from last week, he is on the other side.
I mean, we don't need a special one. That's just
Fight.
Yeah, it's just a good old-fashioned fight. But it is 2-on-1 , so like, I don't know what that is.
We're
It's a bar fight, right?
We're
Yeah, it's
bar
a bar
fighting a
fight.
woman. I don't feel
No,
great.
You don't want to promote that, but
No.
we will still we'll kick her butt. We don't mind.
Yeah.
okay. So
If I have to throw Jordan through a window, I'll throw Jordan through a window. I don't
And can
care.
she get 13.5?
Yeah, I can get
that-
13
yeah,
and a half.
Yeah, there's a couple out there.
yeah, I like that. But you got any read on this game?
You know, I feel like it's kind of priced in. I was looking to maybe take a team total, but it looks like it's kind of there. So, no, I think it's mostly right.
Which team? Which side?
Oh, Notre Dame team total over.
Okay.
I've thought about laying the Irish here, but we'll
Got
see.
All right. Then a little bit later on, when we move to 3:30, it'll be big time on CBS. Features Illinois going to play Oregon in Autzen Stadium. Got ourselves a big old spread here as the Ducks are 21.5. Yeah, 21.5 or so. 54.5, somewhere around there. Parts. Who's got a lock?
I do.
By $1 billion?
No. I'm taking the under 54.5. I think I'm going to go back to the script we saw last time Illinois went on the road to face a top team in Penn State. Defensively, they were willing to give them stuff on the ground, and they were trying to take away the big plays in the passing game because they wanted to limit the possessions because they figured their best way to stay in the game and give themselves a chance was to limit possessions. Maybe you force a few turnovers and things go your way. I think that's what they're going to try, and I feel like no matter – as far as the spread is concerned, I think Oregon either blows them out or it's kind of – sketchy in the fourth quarter for the Ducks. And the way I see it playing out, if it's 42-10 or 21-17, we're under the total in both of these. So give me the under 54.5.
Dig it.
I'm using my best discipline Danny mantra in my head saying don't do it. I liked Oregon when it was 20.5 under that key number. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
I do worry that one of these times, like our friend Parker, Stats of War puts out that like success rate differential graph each week. And Illinois has got a concerning number of covers in which they either won the game and did not win the success rate differential, or like they covered the game. This is the Penn State one I'm talking about here. And like, it was like that big. And yet because Illinois tackled really well, they didn't allow the explosives. There may come a time if that continues where they don't tackle quite as well, and some of those 8-yard runs turn into 80-yard runs. So I'm, as much as I want to take Illinois, I'm going to pass.
You had that one where it's like, what Illinois' defense has gotten really good at is right after giving up like 5 yards, shoot and tackle. Just like a little
the secondary has tackled well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, let's go into blue.
She's got a tease. Yeah.
All right, we're into Club Kenz.
I'm just going to give you another tease. It's about to get even more interesting than it already has been. I'll just leave it at that. But do we need to recap records? We have to recap all our records.
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, all right. So can we call it up on the screen, Mikey?
Oh,
Just
boy.
do a little do a little tab shift there.
I can just read it if you'd like.
Okay, yeah. So
There we go.
started out hot. I mean, Fresno team total. I mean, we were just celebrating. That was just
so
such
high.
a strong debut. Tennessee minus 13.5. Missouri, your beloved Kansas State Wildcats.
Both on the S list. Missouri,
Yeah.
Kansas State.
There we go.
officially.
Second half. All right, so 1-5. Okay, how we feeling?
So I'm finding it almost statistically impressive that I keep picking losers because I'm going above 500 in every single week. I've done this when we talk about our large college football pregame show that everyone should tune into on HQ. So I don't know how I keep picking like one of the 5 losers that I have a week. It's almost impressive. So if you're fading me, shout out to you making money. I don't know if you're going to want to fade this one because I feel pretty good about it.
All right.
You guys have been talking about this game already.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame-Navy.
Mm-hmm.
This total has gotten out of control high. It's moved 10 points from the opening line. And I was all over the over until the public took this out of control. I like Notre Dame's offense. I bet their team total almost every week. And I like Navy. However, this is going to be the first competitive defense that Navy probably faces. And Notre Dame is very familiar with military academies. They play each other all the time. So I do think Navy's defense or offense will get humbled by this team. And I just think the public has taken this like out of control. Also, I heard I had some slander earlier the week from you guys on the Heisman. Like I'm making the rules out here by the odds makers saying the 3 shortest odds. And I agree with them because Beck isn't on track statistically. He hasn't had, his best Heisman moment was in a loss. Milroe is just crumbling, doesn't have the wins he needs. Like Gabriel has the wins and is on track. Ewers literally has just missed too many games. There's a guy down in Baton Rouge that I think is a great dark horse if he can get his team to the SEC Conference Championship, but I don't need the slander over here.
No. Listen, my criticism is soft factors. My criticism is that when you've got something as analogous as like Heisman voting, that even as much work as any like odds maker or model can put in, you're dealing with a wildly unpredictable body, like 800 votes across the country, split up by region. I mean, we're in election season, and that's the most imperfect science ever. So it's just, I'm not ready to commit to any certainties when it comes to the Heisman race. That was
fair, but this isn't like this isn't me trying to like use a model to come up with this. But there is an unspoken rule that you probably need like 35 plus passing touchdowns if you're a quarterback, and if you're not even a little bit on pace to do that, I feel like we can wash some of these guys out. And I feel like it's between Ward and Gabriel when you eliminate all these other guys. Maybe a little LSU quarterback action, dark horse sneak attack later in the running. But I think it's fair to say Genty's to lose, Ward and Gabriel.
Genty's going to be done on Saturday.
What was that?
Yeah, I'll take the field. Can I get the field?
What we're going to price the field at if it's just those 3?
Ooh, I bet that you can bet that.
Before we get into this, Mackenzie, are you taking the full game under or the Navy under?
Full game under.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Do you have a play on the side? No play on the side.
No.
Okay, so she's not anti-American because Al Kenzo was right there for you.
I know.
I have been claimed. He called me a commie on live television about 3 weeks ago. So
Well, I mean,
that
you
was
were.
crazy.
Do you think Army Navy makes playoff?
I have ran a scenario where Army does make the playoff. There's a 12% chance we get Boise and Army in there. Take a look at my Twitter.
Shout out to Austin in the chat who said she lost so bad she lost half her shirt. That was a good one.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. GoFundMe for the other half of the shirt. All right, so we're in on the full game under for Mackenzie. Any other picks for the weekend? What you got your eyes on? Just throw more on the board. That's the key here. Trust me. Just keep firing, and then they'll start hitting.
All right, I think it's UCF money line time. I think this is the time we see BYU start to crumble a little bit. It's been impossible what they've been doing consistently, and I give them all the flowers for it. But going down to Central Florida like that, I think this is the time. I think we get the home underdog money line here.
Now, I know it's been rough, but the rules of the cover 3 pods,
Yeah,
you
they're
can't
the
take
favorite.
any money line just to get a dub.
Yeah,
lay the
lay
2?
the 2.5. Lay the 2.
Sure.
There you go. We did that tour with A&M, and I think there was a game earlier.
It burnt me.
Yeah.
Anybody else got to play on that UCF? I've got to play on the BYU UCF game.
I do
Anybody
not.
else?
Maybe later.
Oh,
Discipline Danny's back. I'm using some discipline.
What's the best number I got on that total for the over? 54? 54 and a half?
We got Spank Odds has
55 and a half.
All right, 55 and a half, still good. Yeah, I'm going to go over there.
We got 55s.
55s? Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
I'll take that as well. I mean, the difference in the explosive play ability that you've got with the athleticism for UCF leads me to believe that they'll be able to hit some home runs. BYU's defense has regressed just a little bit, but I still love what Retzlaff's been doing. So just feels a little bit too low. So I'll go with the over there in Orlando.
It's not a disagreement. I'll take that.
Okay.
All right. This is my winning week, guys. I feel
There we go.
It's
Feel
time.
it. Let's go.
Yeah, I've been saying that every damn week, Ken.
All right. Thank you, Mackenzie. Mackenzie Brooks, Club Kenz, checking in. All right. Are we all in on Illinois, Oregon? Anything else?
I am all in on it for sure.
Obviously. All right. Get into the primetime slate. LSU in College Station. Sit around 2.5 in favor of the Aggies. Who's got a lock?
Lamb with the Aggies. We did our big game breakdown. I think this is where A&M's front's able to at least rattle Garrett Nussmeier, keep him in check. And I do think you'll get the best version of Connor Wegman. If you don't, I think the Aggies lose outright. But I think they're going to get back to running the football the way they did against Mizzou. So I'll take the 12th man. I'll take the Aggies, and I love it under the 3. So I'll take lay the 2.5.
Well, 2-for-1 special. Okay. Well, I'm going to get it started with them.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, not that one.
Fight.
Yeah, give me LSU. I had one of those moments this week where I think on Monday I was asked to do like give me your full college football playoff prediction of the bracket. Now we're gonna like play out the bracket, and I filled it all out and I turned it in, and I had Texas A&M in and I had LSU out. And as soon as I had to start talking about it on CBS Sports Network, I was like, that's wrong. I mean, that's wrong. And I saw like time stood still, and I saw through the matrix, and I was like, LSU's about to go in College Station and win that daggone ball game. LSU hadn't lost since the opening week of the season. They've been getting better on the defensive side of the ball. And Connor Wegman is a volatile substance that must be handled with rubber gloves and a hazmat suit. You cannot trust Connor Wegman. LSU thrives in chaos. Give me the Tigers plus the 2.5.
I'll let you guys fight that out. I'm just going to take the under 54 and take my money afterwards, because I don't trust Connor Wegman is the guy we saw against Mizzou. I think that the A&M offense is probably going to look more like what we saw earlier in the year. And also this LSU offense, we talked about it a bit in the big game breakdown. They don't have a ton of explosive plays. They have very little run game to speak of. And they also struggle finishing drives in the red zone. And I think those two things are related because they can't run the ball very well. So defenses are able to just kind of drop back and force us to kind of, beat their zone. And he's struggled to do that with, he's a big time doubles hitter, triples hitter, home run hitter. He struggles a bit with the singles. And I think once you get in the red zone, that's where LSU struggles. So give me the under 54.
No play?
No. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Just sitting on the rock. And then one more before we hit the break and do a little recap. Penn State at Wisconsin. Wisconsin 6.5-point underdog at home. If I remember correctly, we're sitting at like 48.5, somewhere around there on the total.
48-47 looks like we're mostly trading.
48-47. All right. Who's grabbing Penn State, Wisconsin?
I'm gonna lay the 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think Penn State's just a lot better than what Wisconsin has faced the last 2 weeks. I think you're going to give that backup quarterback some trouble. So go ahead and give it into the lines.
Lock agreement. I think Wisconsin's getting better. I think Wisconsin feel good about itself. I think Wisconsin is playing a much better team than it has faced since Alabama. And that offense, I know Braden Locke was just kind of thrown into the fire in that game, so I don't hold that against him. It's just lines of scrimmage. I don't think this is a game where Wisconsin's going to have a ton of success. So it's going to be hard for them to win this one. So give me the Nittany Lions.
I see somebody. Ooh, Danny.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Give them to me. Give me the Badgers, home dogs. Stop Tyler Warren. You stop Penn State. I think they'll have a game plan to at least contain him. I think Wisconsin's defense will be able to slow down Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Mildly worried about Braden Locke against this defense, but it is at home. I think Penn State wins, but I think similar to what we saw against USC, who is, yes, they're a more talented football team, but I'm not completely sold. And a guy hit me up because he was like, man, after that USC game, you love Drew Aller. I do like the step forward that he took. Curious to see how he does it in here. Slightly different environment than playing at the LA Coliseum there in Wisconsin. So I'll take the points.
Slightly.
Take the dog.
It'll
be louder. Tom, come on. You don't think jump around has a little more excitement to it than whatever?
Not when you're already down 24. No.
Yeah, I was going to say the saddest jump around I have seen in the last half decade might have been the one between the third and fourth quarter against Alabama earlier this year. Big national TV game. Alabama's in town. They're like, here we go, jump around. And like half the student section had already cleared out, which from what I hear, Madison, a lot of great things to do if your football team is down by 20 points. So, I don't blame you. All right. Coming up on the other side, we'll open up the card to anything on Saturday's action, plus our Moneyline Sprinkles. Next.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending.
The chaos continues. Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
Back here on the Cover 3 podcast. Let's review what we've got on the board so far. A Thursday night lock war on the Syracuse Pitt total. You got Chip and Danny on the over 61.5. You've got Bud and Tom on the under 62.5. The rest of Bud's card, Boise -3 and Penn State -6. Rest of Chip's card, Navy first quarter +3.5, BYU UCF over 55 and LSU +2.5. Danny's also got UNLV +3.5, Notre Dame -12.5, Wisconsin +6.5, and Texas A&M -2.5. Tom's also got USC -13.5, Notre Dame -12.5, Penn State -6, the Illinois, Oregon under 54.5, the LSU, Texas A&M under 54.5, and the Boise, UNLV under 64.5. All right, Bud, where you want to go?
All right, let's go to one of the most important games of the week. Let's go to Toledo. This will not be the sicko mode. These are two good MAC teams. Bowling Green, a team I think actually can win the league. I'm going to go ahead and hit under 50 here in Bowling Green, Toledo. Like the things that I have the most confidence in, I think, are the defensive lines on both these football teams. Toledo's got a really nasty one. I think Bowling Green's got some dudes. I'm going to go ahead and bet under here.
Okay. That's not, again, it's not sick because these are
it's not sick.
These are legitimate conference championship contenders. And on this podcast, we respect conference title races.
We do.
Okay. We respect it. We don't talk bubble till you're out of the conference title race.
Damn right.
And we can talk about bubble. All right.
That's right.
Danny, what you got?
I'm kind of light today.
You on like a cleanse?
Yeah, I am actually. And Sober October, which I've mentioned several times. Florida State is making it really, really hard, especially that Friday night game. So let's just go there. Let's go to Hard Rock Stadium, where the Seminoles are a 3-touchdown underdog. Give me the I want to do a 2-for-1 special, but give me the under. Give me the under. 54.5. I think their defense I could see a similar scenario. I mentioned this the other day about what happened against Clemson, where they gave up a lot of points, gave up a lot of yards, were able to buckle it in the red zone, keep Clemson from, scoring a lot of touchdowns. So I think they'll be able to contain Cam Ward. But even if they don't, I haven't seen anything from the Florida State offense that gives me confidence that they're going to score a ton of points. So similar to last week, I think it's going to be a frustrating game. I would love to see this team compete. I would love to take the 3 touchdowns, but I'm just going to take the under.
I have a play for this game as well. I'm going to lay the 20.5 with Miami because I'm mad at Florida State for last week, but mostly because I just haven't seen anything from the Seminoles to make me think they're going to hang in this game. And I know Miami's had close calls against some teams in recent weeks, but I just look at what happened last year, and I'm not saying Florida State ran it up on them because they didn't.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, sorry. They didn't run it up on them. They just scored a bunch of points, and Miami couldn't stop them. But I think this being a rivalry, this being at home, this being Miami playing for the ACC and possible playoff berth, if Miami does get the chance to run it up against this team, I think Miami will run it up against this team. And I don't even know if they'll have to cover this spread. So give me Miami minus 20.5 and maybe an alt line too.
Yeah, I'm laying them. There are numbers on the scoreboard that Florida State cannot reach. And then it is a question of motivation. That very first game, 45-3, was also Mario's first game against Florida State as Miami's head coach.
That's right.
It is the irony of all ironies that he will refuse to kneel. And it will lead, to a massive, disrespectful blowout rivalry win. So, yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
I'm right there.
It's also probably their last chance to get like a somewhat primetime national TV game. Like Duke at Tech, Wake, Cuse. And to our Heisman point, I mean, that you probably won't have a Heisman moment, but you might have a Heisman big stats in front of everybody type thing.
Right. I mean, there is no reason for them to dial back Cam Ward at all.
Right.
How about also Xavier Restrepo is going to go down as Miami's all-time leading receiver. He's 21 yards away from catching Michael Irvin for third. Then he's got he's already passed Andre
Santana Moss.
He's got Santana Moss like 150 yards away. It's insane.
I don't know about that.
That list is incredible, and Xavier Restrepo is continuing to climb up it. So yeah, I'm with you, Tom. I'm laying these 20.5 with Miami in the rivalry game on Saturday night.
Turncoats. Thought you would support me and Bud. Just like
I mean, I'm here for you to like cry on like my shoulder in the group text when they're getting killed, but I'm not going to put my money on it.
Yeah, I mean, Tom stopped buying shirts.
I'm closer to y'all's side than I am to taking the 21.
Yeah.
I probably would be too. Just principle, can't do it.
Can't do it. Yeah. Let's go to Bloomington.
Ooh, something rarely said.
Little two for one special came through for me. You know, I was fighting with one hand over here, and I was fighting with another. I got another 2-for-1 special. A little different. Number one, we're going to take Indiana, and we're going to lay the 6.5. Washington. Did you guys know that teams traveling time zones haven't been playing well?
Really?
In all seriousness, Washington to Indiana, noon kickoff. You're automatically going to at least like have that rattling around in your head. And I believe Indiana has been the better and more consistent team. Washington has had red zone issues. Washington has had kicking issues. Like there's a lot of red flags that are certainly keeping me from jumping on board with Washington. So I like Indiana to be able to keep this thing rolling. I think they end up running the football a lot. And I think this is where the defense kind of shows up in a big way and makes life tough on Will Rogers. which is why I'm going to be pairing it not with an over like last week, but with the under 53.5 on this one. Because let's also think about what Taven Jackson did. Wow, he scored 28 points leading the offense. They had 4 touchdown drives. But to go back and remember exactly how that second half went, here is how Indiana got its second half possessions. Are you ready? Interception, turnover on downs, fumble recovery, interception. The average starting field position for Indiana's offense in the second half of last week's win was the Nebraska 43. I just think that within that, you've got maybe a little bit of an inflation of what Indiana's offense is going to do, but I still respect them enough to cover the spread. So Indiana minus 6.5 and the under 53.5.
So you kind of love the Washington team total under.
Love the Washington team total under, but I saw it at 22.5.
There's 23.5 out there now.
I don't threading quite a needle here.
But if our lock agreements weren't 1 and 5, I would take your advice, but I'm just going to stick with what's on the notepad. Okay.
Fair enough.
I'm just going to stick with what's on the
I can't blame you on that.
Yeah.
It's in now. It's done. It's etched in. There's no deleting it.
Again, I'm not gonna stray from that. I mean, I gave Mikey 24.
Indiana's going to win 24-23, and Chip's going to be pissed.
Listen, as long as it's impossible for me to. No, hold on. Excuse me. I'm not even going to say that. All right.
I can't lose.
Where do you want to go, bud?
I'm going to go to Blacksburg. I'm going to go to Blacksburg. Hold on. Sorry. Occasionally my wife forgets when we're live on air. Thursday at 11 is generally a staple of the show, but just had to say, hey, babe, we'll be off in like 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes. I'm going to lay it with the Hokies here. I don't think that King is playing. And the fact that I'm reading Bishop's article for Atlanta Journal-Constitution about the third string quarterback and how only one hit away type thing. I'm just reading tea leaves here. I'm like, I don't know. Like, how often do we use ink on a third string quarterback? So I'll go ahead and lay that 10.
Let the children sing. I did not listen to Bud last week on the Haynes King because I think he tried to check me. He's like, "You think Haynes King is playing?" I was like, "Yeah, my God, I think he's going to play. He's going to tough it out."
Yeah. Brent Key's quotes threw us off.
Yes, and then when he's out, I mean, Zach Pyron was not great. He really does. The offense kind of flows through him. I don't think Virginia Tech and Blacksburg, they're kind of trying to salvage the season. A big win against Georgia Tech, I think, would go a long way that direction. I think they get it.
Rock with that. Okay. Tom's got a lot on the board.
Tom's got a lot left.
I'm trying to think about like what anybody want to, come on. Who's going to do it? Bandy?
Oof.
No, I actually thought about Texas here. You could kind of make an argument that Vandy has played 2 hurt quarterbacks back to back with the Kentucky kid and also Milroe. And
you could also make an argument that Texas is trotting out a hurt quarterback.
Oh,
yeah, that's fair. So here's the deal. If Ewers is hurt, you could probably play Manning. What did Bama lay at Vandy like 3 weeks ago? 24?
24.
Yeah.
So now Texas is laying what?
18.
And on a neutral site, Texas is like a field goal better than Bama, right? I'm not trying to say like Texas is the play, but I don't feel like you're stealing with Vanderbilt here when just 3 weeks ago they were a touchdown higher to a team that is almost certainly a field goal worse than the team that was laying that 24. I try to think like how much has the market caught up to certain teams? How much can Vandy do? This is assuming that Texas shows up, but
Which is a big assumption to make, which is why we're going anchor down. Vanderbilt plus 18.
Go.
Let's go. You don't
Made
stop
the analytics.
Diego Pavia. Come on. They've got the game plan. They understand what they need to do, and they just need to be able to get this game to the fourth quarter. And if they get this game to the fourth quarter, then you're starting to deal with the Texas team that, like Alabama, just might start puckering up doors.
They got the nets ready too.
To protect the refs from those terrible Texas fans.
Wait, are you talking about the nets? Like,
yes, they kept the netting up in Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Making sure they're protected.
Plus 19's out there.
Yeah, I can get you 19.
Yeah.
All right, let's go 19. Here we go. All right. Anybody? Do we have anything from the dentist on Ole Miss, Oklahoma?
Oh, you damn right we do.
Yeah.
Go. I'm not going to use his real name as I search for. Okay. Dentist time. Here is your treatment plan. I'm going back because I always say treatment plan. I'm going back to Ole Miss underwell this weekend. I'm going to read that again from the top. I'm going back to the Ole Miss underwell this weekend. Several reasons for this bet on Saturday. One, and of course, any injury information from the dentist is not officially endorsed by us, nor by CBS. Trey Harris is out for the game. Their offense has revolved around Harris this season, and they struggle to get first downs when he is out. Two, Ole Miss O-line is still banged up, and they're just moving people everywhere to see what sticks. They still struggle to run the ball. Three, Oklahoma offense has been a disaster so far this season, and I'm not sure switching back to Arnold changes that. Bad offensive line as well. Four, both teams play good defense. Facts. Five, the only Ole Miss Power 5 game that has gone over this number was the LSU game, which had 55 points because of overtime. So, two bad offenses, two good defenses. This score could be 3-2, a tribute to my favorite Auburn-Mississippi State game ever. Give me Ole Miss, OU, under 49. Tooth emoji, lock emoji, anchor down emoji combo, wave emoji, Jordan.
Damn, Ken's just got
pain. You know, like
lock it up. I like the under as well. I believe this is 6 straight unders in Ole Miss games for all the same reasons he did. I would have taken the Oklahoma-South Carolina lock again. I mentioned the 21 points in the first 4 minutes of that game. I don't think that happens again. Totally agree with everything he said.
Whatever. I'll lay the 20.
Just kicking them all while they're down. Florida State, Oklahoma, all of them.
I think that I think Ole Miss needs it. I think Ole Miss ran a gauntlet. They had the off week. Obviously, this Trey Harris information and, just continued skepticism about Ole Miss's offense may be true. But, man, they've still got a lot that they can accomplish this season. They've still got the Georgia game coming at home in a couple weeks. I could see them beating up on an Oklahoma team that's just in shambles right now because Ole Miss needs to feel good too. So I could see Lane getting the cover at the Grove for all of his buddies at the Grove with a key number right here at 20. All right. Let's see. We got another visitor?
No, Noah, our producer for the Saturday show, was just waving.
Nobody wants.
Oh, now he heard his voice.
Yeah. Does he know how much all these Miami picks that are getting dropped on here?
No, we'll keep that from him. We don't want him to know. He's a diehard Florida State guy. We don't want him to know that.
All right.
Doing a lot of dying.
Coming up on the other side, more of our locks for Saturday and our Moneyline Sprinkles next. Back here on the Cover 3 podcast. Okay, Bud, how many more you got?
I got a couple more.
All right, come on, let's rock.
All right, let's go ahead and Let's go sick. Like legit sick.
Like legit sick. All right, let's go.
It's time for sicko mode. Let's go. I'm a little bit lower on some of the teams in the bottom of the Sun Belt. If things go wrong, they could be like UMass, UConn. That's kind of like sicko mode of a sicko mode.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and fire under 46 in this Nevada-Hawaii game. Hawaii's actually been a pretty decent under team at times this year. They don't play like they throw it around, but they don't play super up tempo. Nevada runs really slow tempo. Brendan Lewis got smacked pretty hard last game, kind of came back in, then had to come back out. We'll see if we'll see if he goes, but I do like it either way. I think this is a very low tempo game and one that I can see both offenses struggling.
And you're going to stay up to make sure this one cashes, right?
Not a chance. I'll just check the account in the morning.
Hey, nothing wrong with a little wake up to winners.
That's right.
Nothing like sweating a Hawaii under until 4 a.m.
Do we still have 12 and a halves for Duke?
No. Wait, yeah, there's one. I see one.
Okay. Let's go Duke plus 12 and a half. You know who's going to be in attendance in Durham, North Carolina on Saturday night?
Cooper Flagg.
Yes, probably. We're bringing ball coach back. Steve Spurrier coming back to celebrate the 1989 ACC championship. You know who else is coming back? Fred Goldsmith coming back to celebrate the 1994 team, which was one of the winningest teams of that era. And you know who else is coming back? David Cutcliffe to celebrate the 2014 ACC Coastal Division title. Now, I had this thing locked in well before I learned all that information today, but I think that what they have right now, and this is crazy, like crazy to explain to somebody, they've got a lot of good vibes around this football program right now. I think that this is a big number, and I mentioned this earlier. So Rhett Lashley was the offensive coordinator for Manny Diaz when they were at Miami, and then when Manny Diaz got the job at Duke, he hired Jonathan Brewer as his offensive coordinator from the SMU staff. So it's two coaching staffs that know each other really, 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 really well. Because Manny Diaz, great defensive mind. Rhett Lashley, great offensive mind. Like I think that there's enough familiarity here to think that it is highly unlikely that SMU is going to be able to out-scheme them. Now, they do have some better players, but you know who's not one of the better players who ain't playing anymore is RJ Maryland. Because when SMU's offense starts spinning its wheels, sometimes its easy button is to throw that massive tight end / wide receiver out on the outside on your little skinny guy wearing number 24 and just let him go make a play. And so I think that, as we sort of shave off the margins of this game, a lot of things end up breaking Duke's way. I like the Blue Devils plus the 12.5.
I was going to follow up with, who's not going to be there. RJ Maryland. Give me Duke as well.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys a Fred Goldsmith story? Did I tell you about that? Because I was the quarterback when they were 94.
Right? I did say
What's that?
Did I say Dave Goldsmith? I said Fred Goldsmith, right?
Fred.
Yeah.
Did I say Dave? Fred Goldsmith. So so they were undefeated when they came to Tallahassee. They were top 25, like first time in 10 years, wherever Spurrier was probably there previous to that. And we smoked them. We beat them pretty good. I got a handwritten note from Fred Goldsmith in the mail. It was like, congrats. What a great player you were. Best of luck the rest of your career. That was a really classy move. That was the only time that ever happened. Everybody gets a handshake after the game. The handwritten note from Fred Goldsmith was really cool.
Tampering.
1994 tampering.
Yes, you good?
Yes.
By the way, Brent Key, like 90, or I don't know, maybe a couple minutes ago. Georgia Tech coach Brent Key says today, if there was a game, quarterback Haynes King would be a no when it comes to being available. But King will officially remain day-to-day ahead of Saturday's game at Virginia Tech.
All right, Tom, what you want?
Well, I've got 8 games left on my card, so I'll just start rapid firing this. I will start with one of my favorite plays of the week. Give me James Madison minus 23.5 against Southern Miss. Southern Miss was kind of a dead team walking already. Then they fired their coach last week. And I don't think this is one of those situations where it's like a dead coach bounce. I don't think there's like, oh, I hate the coach. I think it's just a bad football team who has now seen its coach fired and now is looking at the rest of the season like, who the hell cares? So give me James Madison minus 23.5, who, by the way, lost that game to Georgia Southern despite having a +4 turnover margin. I don't think that happens again, and I think we're actually getting a little bit extra value on the line because of it. So, yeah, give me the Dukes.
We are being bullies. It's school bully Saturday here. Let's find all the teams that are down bad. And let's bury them. That's what it seems like we got going on right here. This is not the case. Give me Kansas State, Kansas over 55.5. Sunflower State showdown. To look at not an overreaction to Kansas's offense, putting up some good numbers and having a good day against Houston. But at least taking note of, seems like they're finally getting out there, and Kansas State has given up explosive plays, especially on the back end of the defense. Kansas's defense, I would not trust to have many answers for DJ Giddens. And so I like this one to get a little bit loose. So I'm going to go with the over the total in Kansas State, Kansas.
Go ahead, Danny.
I was just saying, can I get Kansas 10? Can I get double digits still? I'll take Kansas in the points on the road. They've been competitive in every game. I'm a huge fan of Lance Leipold. We talked to him this morning on the radio. Like he said, this team hasn't given up, which there's a tendency to do. And of course, they just got their first win. They've only had one loss. It's by more than one possession. I think this will be a similar type game, rivalry game. I'll take the Jayhawks.
Is that where you're at too?
Yeah.
All right.
Let the children sing.
Haven't quit. Same thinking.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I look. I'll do credit to Kansas State, but West Virginia also ran really bad in that game when it came to turnovers, injuries, that kind of stuff. So 10's a big number to cover against an offense that I think can score a little bit, and I think all these Big 12 teams are similar.
Same.
All right, Bud. Where do you want to go?
All right. Well, got that one off my card. Next, we are going to go to. Want to do it? Do I want to do it? Yeah, what? I'm sorry, I lost my rotation number. Here we go. Give me Cincinnati plus 5.5. I think Colorado has been playing much better, but a couple things. Like, I know some coaches who have played Cincy, and they've been like, Cincy's pretty good. Especially that quarterback. I think they'll be able to, score some on Colorado. Is this the best offense that Colorado has faced this year? With the caveat that something was clearly wrong with Avery Johnson that night. Remember, he looked really off. He went to the locker room, came back. I think Cincinnati's offense is better than Nebraska. I think it's better than Baylor. It's definitely better than the version of Arizona when their left tackle went down and they had a bunch of other guys hurt. It's probably better than the UCF version, which was playing a kid in KJ Jefferson who they later benched, right? This might be the best offense Colorado's faced. Now, I don't think Cincinnati's defense is great. They're down a whole bunch of guys, obviously. But sorry about that. My Apple Watch is ringing. I was bidding on a truck, so we will see at auction. Not live on the show. I just my friend does auction stuff. So, anyway,
good luck out there. I was with Tom on Cincinnati last week, and that was an experience.
Did it win?
What?
Yeah. Did it win?
Yeah. Thanks to Arizona State missing 1 million kicks.
Well, that's called defense, bro.
Cincinnati plus 5.5 at Colorado. Love to have a little 10-15 kick action out there. Love it. Tom, you said you got 8 left?
I've got a lot more, yeah.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
Can I just go ahead and jump in? Because I think you might.
Yeah, go.
Our Warhawks. Disrespectful. They're a 7 and a hook for our Warhawks? No, sir. No way. Like South Alabama, you've had some nice moments this season, but 7 and a hook against one of the hottest teams in America? Come on. ULM plus 7.5.
You're on your own there, kid. I will go to the big rivalry game of the weekend. Give me Michigan State plus 4 against the Wolverines. I am sick and tired of Michigan being favored against teams. I've just been going against them every single time it's happened, and guess what? It's working pretty damn well because they haven't covered once as a favorite. Give me Sparty plus 4. And then should I just keep going? Because seriously, I don't know how many picks you guys have left.
I could, let me see where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you've got a lot left too.
Well, no, I'm at 12 right now, and I think I could throw as many as 5 more on there.
Bud's done.
Probably
Danny, how are you?
Probably
you guys fire. I might have a couple more.
Okay.
All right, I'll go rapid fire here because we're already 70 minutes in.
This is running a little long, but it's good.
Give me I've got a bunch of totals here. Give me the under 65 in Oklahoma State and Baylor. Give me the under 67 in Texas Tech TCU. Give me the under 67.5 in Tulane, North Texas. Give me the under 65.5 in New Mexico, Colorado State. And give me the over 36.5 in Utah, Houston. And I have one team total. Brady Cook's not playing this weekend. Noel's out. They might be out, Theo Weiss. Give me Mizzou team total under 16.5.
Oof, I like that.
Yeah, no, we had no locks on Alabama, Missouri. I'm glad we at least got one on there. But yuck. That's probably what'd you say, Tom? Those numbers just seem a little too high, and that one number just seems a little too low.
Yeah, that's my thought. I feel like mathematically those numbers are a little too high and the one's a little too low.
Those numbers just seem a little too high and a little too low. You know, just sort of the way I feel.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers. That's all it is. Bet the number, not the name. That's what the smart people tell you. Which is why I'm just going to bet the name on this one. San Jose State plus 5.5. Let's go. Ken Niumatalolo, I won't quit you. I can't quit you. Fresno State's been all over the place this year. You know? I mean, it is a very, very erratic team. What they do well and what they do their strengths and weaknesses basically vary almost every single game. I at least know what San Jose State is, and that's a team that can move the ball through the air, and teams have had success with that earlier in the season against this Fresno State defense. Fresno State, I believe in the last couple weeks, hasn't played anything close to a competent passing attack. I might have my schedule reversed in my head, but I like the Spartans to be able to go out there, maybe even threaten to win, but I like getting the number at 5.5. All right, Tom?
I'm out.
I'm done. I've fired all mine off.
All right. And Danny, are you done?
Yeah, let me get a couple in here. Northwestern Iowa. The overs have been killers, right? They've been crushing it. But you got to know when to hop off that wagon when the time is right. Give me under 37.5. God, this game is going to be disgusting. It's going to be gross.
Yeah. Like overs have been hitting pretty well in like those low total games, but they haven't been hitting in Northwestern games at all.
No, exactly. So I think this game will be ugly. Give me Western Michigan laying 16.5 against Kent State. These games are just gorgeous.
I think that's a good one, by the way.
Yeah.
I think Kent State might be the worst team in all of college football.
You might have said that
before last night. I
would
would have disagreed. Now I don't disagree.
Yeah. And then I have one more gorgeous game on our airways. 1-6 Utah State, 1-6 Wyoming, 7 p.m. prime time. You talk about a ratings bonanza. Give me Wyoming at home as the home dog, catching 1 point.
I get you 1.5.
Even better.
Nice. Big Evan Swoboda getting that hook.
I'll lay the 13.5 with Iowa back on that Northwestern Iowa game. They need a bounce back. That was embarrassing against Michigan.
Is Louch playing
for Northwestern?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think it matters anymore.
I don't think it matters in terms of the success against this Iowa defense.
I do think it matters. I don't think Wright can play. I think that's like a 3 or 4 point adjustment. But
well, I mean, they're only scoring either 3 or 7.
I guess if he's
so the
playing
question is, do I think Caleb Johnson can score 21? Northwestern's either scoring 3 or they're scoring 7. Do I think that Caleb Johnson can go get us 21 points for Iowa? I do. So I'll lay the 13.5.
I forgot. Make sure we get it in. Guest picker Jordan Giorgio. Her second play is Missouri and the points. Yeah. Stanky.
Playing with fire.
Hey, she's 1-0. She's feeling it.
She's earned that right.
What's she getting? 16.5?
I can get her 17.
Yeah. Gobble them up.
Let's go. All right. Now, anything else before we do the review and get to Moneyline Sprinkles?
No.
Okay. To review. Bud, Scott, Syracuse Pitt under 62.5, Boise -3, Bowling Green, Toledo under 50, Penn State -6, Virginia Tech -10, Nevada, Hawaii under 46, Kansas +10, and Cincinnati +5.5. Chip is on. Syracuse Pitt over 61.5, Navy first quarter +3.5, BYU UCF over 55, Indiana -6, Miami -20.5, LSU +2.5, Washington Indiana under 53.5, Duke +12.5, Vandy +19, Ole Miss -20, the Kansas State Kansas over 55.5, ULM +7.5, San Jose State +5.5, and Iowa -13.5. Danny's got Syracuse Pitt over 61.5, UNLV +3.5, Notre Dame -12.5, Wisconsin +6.5, Virginia Tech -10, Texas A&M -2.5, Kansas +10, Duke +12.5, the Ole Miss Oklahoma under 49, Florida State Miami under 54.5, Northwestern Iowa under 37.5, Western Michigan -16.5, and Wyoming +1.5. And Tom's got Syracuse Pitt under 62.5, USC -13.5, Notre Dame -12.5, Penn State -6, Miami -20.5, Illinois Oregon under 54.5, Boise UNLV under 64.5, LSU Texas A&M under 54.5, James Madison -23.5, Michigan State +4, Oklahoma State Baylor under 65, Texas Tech TCU under 67, Tulane North Texas under 67.5, Missouri team total under 16.5, New Mexico Colorado State under 65.5, Utah Houston over 36.5. All right. And wait, where'd it go? And this Moneyline Sprinkles segment is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. All right, let's take a look at our sprinkles from last week. Bud coming through. Sprayed the board and hit that ODU +305. Houston, Georgia State, Nevada, UCF did not come home. Chip got that Tennessee +145. Arkansas, North Texas. North Texas, so close. But so far, Danny also on Tennessee, didn't come home with Florida State, Arkansas, or Louisville. And Tom, Tom, Cash, Illinois +145, Colorado +140, Georgia +185, and TCU +174. Man, that's got to have you as the new leader, right, Tom?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Tom, 16 and 17 on Moneyline Sprinkles, up 12.01 units. Chip in second place, 8 and 14, up 4.3 units. Bud in third place, 7 and 14, 0.73 units up. And Danny, 9 and 20, down 7.88 units. Tom, what are our sprinkles?
I've got 5. This is the only thing I'm good at this year, so I might as well keep steering into it. I mentioned earlier that I would have a play on this game later, and I do. Give me BYU +125 as a road dog. Give me Maryland +165 going on the road to take on Minnesota. Give me LSU +124 on the road against the Aggies. This one stinks, but sometimes you got to get a little dirty. Give me Auburn +122 against Kentucky. And finally, I don't need the 21 points. Give me Illinois +1200. Oh, it's a 21-point spread. Kennesaw was a 27-point dog last night, and they beat Liberty. Illinois is going to Autzen. They're going to beat them by 1 billion.
Love it. Okay. couple that that you just mentioned that I also have. Give me BYU and LSU. I would also like, because I love this country, the Naval Academy plus 410 going up against Notre Dame. And then also, where's the other one here? So LSU, BYU, Navy, and yeah, I think that's actually it for me. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So pull up a seat. So James Franklin at Penn State has won 70% of his games. James Franklin's record coming off a bye is 8-13. So there's a disconnect here. James Franklin's won 70% of his games overall, but only wins 38% of them when he's coming off a bye. And certainly nothing's ever gone wrong coming off a bye, playing on the road with Ohio State looming. Nothing has ever gone wrong, right? Give me Wisconsin. Badgers on the field.
205.
And that's those are mine. Bud.
All right. So Washington plus 215. Embracing the variance with the backup quarterback there. Are we sure Colorado State should be like -2 something? Give me New Mexico plus 200.
Broncos, big beefy boys late in the season. First year coach getting better. I like it.
I think they can score. I like that quarterback. Chip, I think, had this one on the spread. I'm just going to take him on the money line. ULM plus 250. See if we can exploit that South Al run defense. And finally, return of the MAC. Why is Ohio favored by 6?
Is that Buffalo?
I'm going to bet Buffalo plus 200. Like what? Didn't Miami, Ohio, which runs almost a carbon copy of this defense, just shut down Ohio 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? And Ohio benched their quarterback last week because he was playing terrible. So I don't know. Like, it's MAC play. I'm going to go ahead and take Buffalo. The offense is playing a little bit better.
There is a what has Ohio done to deserve being a touchdown favorite against a Buffalo team whose ceiling certainly is competing with anybody in the conference. Yes.
This is correct. This is exactly what I'm saying.
Love that. All right. Danny.
I will take UNLV. I told you, you heard me say to Kenzie when she was in here. I think Ashton Genty's Heisman hopes go up in flames Friday night. I think it's because his team loses. It might not even be because of him, but I do think that's the type of margin he's working with. Plus 140, I think, is the number.
I can get you.
Give me that home dog. I absolutely loved the SMU with the points, but I didn't know all the legendary figures they were bringing back. Give me Duke plus 275. I am in total agreement with Bud on Cincinnati. So much so, I'm going to take him to win the game outright. Brendan Sorsby going toe-to-toe with Shedeur Sanders. He might have a chip on his shoulder, too. Everybody's talking about all these other quarterbacks in the country, not talking about him. Big 12's been wild. I think we'll see that parity. And then, like, I'm way back, right? I'm trailing everybody. Like, I need to swing for the fences a little bit, kind of, at this point in the season.
Yeah.
It's just been a rough year. There's really only one thing that could salvage a season like this. Like when you're 1-6 and it's embarrassing and you have nothing going for you, you put all your chips on the table because this could just turn everything around. Give me Florida State plus 1,000. Shock the world. I was going to go with the Kennesaw State line already. We saw 1-6. We saw 0-6 beat 5-0. Who's to say we can't see 1-6 beat 7-0? Let's go. Pride.
If they do that,
deep, heart of a champion. Come on. It's that Hail Mary. Sometimes you hit them.
And that has been the Moneyline Sprinkles segment brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Woo! Yeah, we're good. We're good. We got it. I mean, that's got to be the most picks per minute that we've done. I feel like that was effective. We got our first lock war. Got a ton of lock fights. We're good. Tom, do you feel like today moved too fast? Was this a good pace?
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I think you kind of bogged things down for a bit there, but you'll work on it. You'll get better for next
Well,
week.
I just don't want to create problems for you with your picks in the spreadsheet.
No, I got them all in there this week. I was extra focused. I wasn't distracted by you dancing with a mask on this time. I was able to stay
You're
in.
prepared.
Yeah, I was ready for it.
Seen that? No,
Yeah.
dag. I gotta change it up. Gotta find some new gimmicks to make Tom laugh and throw him off his game. All right. Any final word? Any last thoughts here? Any World Series picks?
I've got futures on both teams, so I'm just going to sit
And
back
lose.
and enjoy. Although I think I'm just going to take the over in every game too, with the way these two offenses are hitting right now.
Is there a prop at FanDuel Sportsbook where you can make every moment more, where you can do the total runs for the whole series?
There might be. I don't know.
There's a lot
I'm
of
trying to think how you price that, because it's like how many games is this?
Yeah.
Right.
Gonna
Yeah, I guess
say
you just-
Yankees in 6 though.
Yankees in
I like the
6,
Yankees.
Dodgers in 5.
Dodgers.
Just Dodgers don't have their pitchers are all dead.
I know.
Who cares?
Like you're
Baseball.
starting like bullpen games and elimination spots. It's like that's not going to work well against.
As
the
a Rays
Yankees.
fan, I actually do like bullpen games quite a bit. I mean,
But-
not aesthetically, just
So that's
like,
the thing. So you want the Dodgers to win because you're a Rays fan. I want the Yankees to win because I'm a Giants fan. So there's absolutely no bias in this.
Love it. All right. We will be back Saturday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, so we can recap all of the action from week 9. And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fidel. You can follow him at Bud3. You can follow him at Danny Cano. Follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
see y'all.
See ya.